Victario was a poet what ended up leading a rebellion, right under the nose of Emperor Chittis. But here's what really interests me. Our wordsmith was quite the talented larcenist as well. Pulled off the heist of the century, in the name of the people, of course. 3 finely crafted platinum busts commissioned by Chittis for his favourite trio of generals. Victario and his coppers hold up in the sewers. Now that you have Clarissa's keys, perhaps you'd be inclined to search out those heroic busts for me. I'm sure I can make it well worth your while. I can't imagine what that poor bastard's been through. It's a miracle Gregor hasn't completely lost his mind. Granted, he's lost 1 or 2 pieces along the way, but there's still plenty that's worth listening to.
Exile.
Yes, yes, enter. Yes, we've got a promising list of picks. Here's the next set. 1 more for King's March. Let me just grab the next few applications. There you are.
The Monkey King has built his throne on your back. A throne of gold and gem, polished with blood and tear. Throw off the Monkey King and his shining privy before your back is broken.
Too much baggage. Too much baggage. You are remembered only for the mess you leave behind. left to its own devices, all of Rayclast would come to be this way.
here. Yet another of Oriath's cast-offs. With the problems we're facing here, I do wish they'd send someone with a little more utility. Alas, we have useless exiles blowing in like spores on the wind. Cassia, by the by. Pleasure. See this growth? Not on me, The fruiting body. The big mushroom? Strange, is it not? Wouldn't expect something of this scale in a place like this. Stands out like a sin during a sermon. Unfortunately, this is one of many, and they're all filled with an extremely toxic fluid. Quite dangerous to one's health, and no one is paying any attention. No one but I, of course. That's why I've attached this purification pump to the gleba. The spore mass. The big yellow round part. I plan to pump the toxic fluids from the mycelium, the rooty-looking parts, through the spore mass, robbing this growth of the fluids that allow it to thrive. Even if I can't find a use for it, at least it won't get into dangerous or clumsy hands. In response, the mycelium is going to react violently. This is where you enter. My Mother Superior used to tell us that God helps those who help each other. And I'm dubious of the sort of help you might provide, as it has not escaped me that you are, for lack of a better term, drenched in viscera. Even so, I have some devices we can deploy to help protect my purification pump here. When you're ready, start the pump, then choose a place along the mycelium to deploy a device. Then get yourself ready. As I expect, there'll be more viscera. Well done. Now be a good assistant and find a place to deploy a tower. Exile, are you going to build a tower, as I've so kindly requested? Fire's flame. The blight is reacting. The blight is trying to spread. Purification pump.
Far too much baggage.
It was I who tasked you with protecting the pump. So ultimately we know where the blame lies. On you, for not protecting the pump. It's in terrible shape. It may take weeks to fix it, months even. Oh no, I fixed it, thank God. Consider yourself extremely lucky. You're not ready for this yet, I suppose. I'll pray that you will be soon, as you now owe me. Get better at this, then find me. You know how to find me, right? Just go to the nearest pulsating growth? Yes, it's true. I, like you, am an exile. I caught the High Templar's eye several years ago. I showed an interest in the mechanical arts, and he had need for someone like myself for some highly secret projects he had started. He sought ways to tap into the power contained within the virtue gems in ways that I'm not sure were in line with God's plan. I did not openly refuse his orders. I simply interpreted them differently. The mechanisms I built were brilliant and powerful, and totally useless for his desires. I may have kept some of them. Unfortunately, as you know, little slips past Dominus. I was exiled as a matter of secrecy, rapidly replaced by some little whore. What? She is a whore! You likely know her by the name High Templar Dominus gave her. Piety. Ugh! A whore turned thaumaturgist turned inventor. Or at least, she wishes she were. I've seen some of her work. Unimpressive, considering the resources she has available to her. Not that I'm envious, I'm not. Really, good for her. But, you know, creators have a habit of getting caught in the teeth of their own creations, and Piety seems to favor creations with many, many teeth. I've worked on many beautiful little machines in my time. Let's see. There was one that was originally designed to rapidly peel and pith fruit. That one is now called the Discalper. The portable oven turned out to be less of an oven and more of a red-hot ember dispenser. Still quite popular. And of course, the towers I have been assembling for use in protecting the portable purifying pumping unit. Those I am particularly proud of. Powered by the toxic fluid that runs through the fungal fibers. Surprisingly robust and safe. Relatively safe. Almost no one has died yet who wasn't meant to. I've not seen anything like it before. The growths show no sign of intelligent thought, no clear ambition, yet the moment the pump's needle pierces the fungal flesh, creatures of all shapes and sizes begin to emerge from the mycelium. And they never stray away from it. The fluid within those growths may hold the key to controlling the minds of creatures and hopefully something to protect us from such a power. Too many already vie for control of our wills. But that is the domain of the divine.
Too much baggage.
Hello. Maramoa. I've heard that the Karui have this philosophy. Makanui, the way of the warrior. Don't think you could get any more Makanui than her. She took it upon herself to look after me before Tolman arrived. Saved my skin more than once. I'm fine with that. Beats being on her bad side. Hagen likes to think he was my kind old uncle back in Theopolis. Granted, the work he gave me saved my parents and I from starvation. This was after my father lost the family fortune at the card table, and we had to give up the manor in the country for a flea box in Theopolis. But he's not half as generous as he makes out. When Hagen gives you something, you can be damned sure that he's getting his pound of flesh in return. No one should have to go through what Grigor has. I help him as much as he'll let me, but he's a proud one, and so he should be. He's survived what has destroyed too many of us. Halfway across the world, and yet the tie between Vanilla and I endures. That was Piety's real name back in Theopolis, before her rise to greatness. Vanilla sold her thaumaturgy in the day, her body at night. Sought after, she was. Enough so to become one of my best buyers. But money never meant much to Vanilla. No. She was striving for something better, nobler. Used to tell me that life needn't be this hard. It's time you all realized that. I bet she fed Tolman the same bloody line. The blackguards talked about Piety's precious gems being infected with nightmare. Tolman, what did she do to you? Vanilla was arrested for consorting with the unholy and condemned to the pyre. This was before the banishments. Dominus shared a last supper with her, heard her confession. Most think Vanilla earned Dominus's patronage on her back. I don't. Vanilla gave Dominus her better life and got a new name in return. You can count on one thing. Piety's grand future won't include the likes of you, me, or Tolman. On the fall of the Empire, the historians are deathly silent. After the Purity Rebellion, the Kingdom of Kalm blockaded Oriath, preventing any trade or correspondence with the mainland. It said that Kalm planned to invade. Only when the Karui retreated did Oriath get any news from Rayclast. But by that time, there wasn't really anyone left to tell the tale. Chitters thought that the gemling was the pinnacle of human progress. These glorious gems had brought us within spitting distance of godhood, he once said. The High Templar at the time, Vol of Thebris, thought they were a perversion. He wanted the Empire made pure, cleansed of the stain of thaumaturgy. You look at San and tell me which one you think was right. And while you're out there, look out for monkeys. No, not those bloody monkeys from Frisia. These ones are painted on the walls. I think you'll find them enlightening. What is it?
Two out of 3 busts. Well, it's just not 3, is it? 3's a tidy number. Victario's third and final refuge awaits you, my bold business partner. Beatles poet could hide the spoils from Chitless, but not from us, eh? I knew you was the Exile for the job. I'm sure you've been more than compensated already from Victario's stockpiles, but here's a little extra. Care of something I found under a dead man's bed. Why? Just because I like you.